Welcome back to another episode of the Hooligans Pitch, episode 76, late night edition.
76.
Chad, how's it going, buddy?
Oh, pretty good. Surviving the summer heat wave, the most hot summer I've ever had living here.
Is that true? It's happening?
It is true. It is true. Yeah, this week has been okay, but last week it was almost every day that week was like 110 plus, which a little too hot for my liking.
Awful.
And I didn't even have any footy to really distract me from the heat, so I'm just sweating all day.
Yep. Well, I was in Kentucky and only had one major tornado warning, so very.
Oh, okay.
We both had very different, not natural disasters, but on the cusp of getting there. Fun state, Dollar Generals on every corner that you could think of. But yeah, had a good time. Was able to watch every football game that week because we were just around and chilling.
Yeah.
So it was good. It was good.
Nice.
Yeah.
We each got our little summer break.
Yeah, we did.
You know, relax, refresh, get ready for the new season.
We're almost there. We're so close. Okay, I'm jonesing to open my beer here before we get started. You know that space camper theme that I'm on right now?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
They've been doing like a Voodoo Ranger, but for their own.
Oh, okay.
So this is a quantum hop. Imperial IPA 9.5%. Haven't had it yet. Let's get this thing started.
You're diving right in. Well, I thought I had some beer left, but I'm going to say I drank it to cool off during the hot days.
Yeah, please do.
I got a Spindrift, so still good.
I just stocked
not
the
9%.
I get it. All right. Well, Euro 2024. I'd like to quote someone a couple weeks ago. Okay, you ready for this one?
Yeah.
Spain might be the best team in Euros, but they will not win it. Quote, Michael Miles. We'll go back and we'll find it, but I did say those words, and now I'm eating them. And when it came down to this game, and people were asking me who I thought was going to win, Spain and England, it was really hard for me to go against what I said in the beginning because I don't like flip-flopping.
It's fair.
So I did come into this game thinking England, I just felt like they were going to win it because they had so much
they
against them.
Die.
Yeah, they wouldn't die. That too. They just kept going. They had so much going at the end of the last Euros to kind of like make this a movie script. Winning this one would have been very simulation-like because that just seems to be what we're doing these days. And I would have not have been surprised at all if England won this game. And as for Spain, I think we both are in agreement now that they were the best team in this tournament by far.
Yeah, certainly.
It grew. You know, I made that statement, I believe, either after the first group stage game or when the group stage wrapped up. I want to say it was after the first group stage game. So early sample size. No, it was later.
It couldn't have been that one because they blew out someone game one.
And I believed, and I think we were there talking about it.
I think you said it after. I don't think it was after the first game. Yeah, maybe second game.
Yeah, Euro Euphoria, our episode, we talked about all the games, so it might have been after group stage.
Yeah. First game was a 3-0 win against Croatia. Second game was the 1-0 win over Italy. So I think it's probably after that one where it's like,
yeah, that sounds right.
It wasn't a light 'em up kind of performance. They won off of an own goal there. So, but fair enough to not jump the shark there and see that okay, you put 3 past the struggling Croatian side and they're going to win the whole thing. But it's always good to be humble and. But also stand by what you said, right?
I mean, just look at who they beat. I mean, we go down the list. They took out top names. Take away Georgia, which was their, the game they kind of stomped and the game we thought they would stomp.
Sure,
taking down just former champion in the last 2 decades after former champion. So I don't know. Good to see. This Spanish team is so young, and I feel like we don't even know a lot of their players and how they do domestically. So this will be a fun team. Excuse me, to watch. Gosh, for the next 10 years.
Yeah. It was like, of all the Euro games I watched, I think anytime I watch Spain, they just seem the most like fluid and just nothing felt like awkward or forced. Which I guess says a lot about the coaching there and getting everyone comfortable with each other in the limited time that they have.
They had good on-field leadership too. Rodri is a different beast. He's just so calm. And then I think just having an attacking force with really 2 young wingers and like a veteran striker, just like it weirdly makes a ton of sense.
So you're saying wingers, you should play wingers like as wingers, not try and force someone outside that will just work the way inside.
If Yamal ever had to play left back in this tournament, I'd be questioning what was going on. Luckily, we didn't see that. Here's a fun stat, though, Chad. In the year 2040, Lamine Yamal will be as old as Kevin De Bruyne is now.
Wow. He's starting his career off at the peak, and he's only going to go up.
Oh, man. And I want to talk about the press conference, which I'll maybe just get it out of the way. Did you see what he was trying to do at the press conference against Spain?
Yamal?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I'm sorry. Against France. Sorry. When they beat France and he went to go talk at the end of the game?
I don't think I did. I saw like Rabiot prior to the game was saying they're going to like rough him up or whatever, but
he tried to get to the media desk with a Ninja Turtles mask, and I'm pretty sure his agent took it out of his hands, maybe 5 or 6 steps away from the podium.
Come on,
dude! There's a video of it of him snatching the mask away.
I'll have to look,
it's a classic, and he's totally smiling.
Like, you gotta let that stuff happen. That organic, just banter that might create a little bit of a rivalry situation, especially now with Mbappe at Real. Like,
it's coming. It's brewing.
Yeah.
Color me shocked when Rabiot goes to Madrid this summer and we just have a classic, what was that, like 2008 to 2013, 14
somewhere
Madrid,
in there.
Barcelona brawls, man, that was a good couple years. We even watched the Liga and we're watching a Clasico every time.
Oh, you had to. Yeah. It was awesome. Basically a Champions League final every time they played. It was crazy.
It's fantastic. All right, but back to the game. How'd you like it compared to all the other ones?
I kind of really enjoyed it. England, I still don't think played nearly as well as they could and should have throughout the tournament, but I think their first half was probably maybe the best we've seen them, at least in a extended period. Like, we've definitely seen little 5, 10, 15 minute runs of really good play, but I thought they came out fairly smart here, where they weren't sitting too far back, but they were very cautious about the speed on Spain's wings, which you had to be. Yamal's having a tournament, and then Nico Williams is also having a tournament, and they're both so quick and talented. I think they maybe sat in that strategy a little too long. Like, you could see Spain getting a little bit frustrated towards the end of that half, I think. And I think you probably should have come out the second half a little bit on the front foot, and they did not. Whereas Spain went to halftime, had their halftime oranges, and came out and they were like guns blazing right away.
Yeah, taking off Rodri and deciding to go with a little bit more attack-minded, I guess, like front five really at that point. Pay it off within a minute, 30 seconds.
Yeah. So exactly, it just I don't know. Like, it was enjoyable as a neutral here. But yeah, I think I don't think I ever doubted Spain here. I know I joked when when England scored. I was like, all right, we're going to penalties because that's just been their run of the tournament. But even looking down the stats, it's England had 3 shots on target the whole time, where just Spain with just some of their subs had about the same. Plus a few more from the starters. So it's like Spain was definitely the better team on the day. Deserved to win, and glad they won. Enjoyable to watch, and lunchtime for me, so it was perfect. I have a little coffee. Ended up having a little margarita afterwards with it, so it was a great time.
We went to the local soccer pub.
Nice.
It's like the Grad Light. No food, no kitchen, but like it still has that same type of aura. And place was packed, man. Ton of English fans in there from the homeland. I could hear it. And then we had a smaller group of I'm assuming Spaniards. They were speaking Spanish when Spain was scoring. I had to assume. It was a good like back and forth, but at the end of the game, Kristen said, not loud, but it's like there are English people next to her. She was just like, "It's not coming home," and I was like, oh.
"We gotta go, get out of here."
That was
bold move.
That was a bold move. Yeah. Bolder move, starting Luke Shaw in a game for the first time in 6 months.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I like it only because Trippier was doing nothing out there. I wasn't as surprised. Like, I had him in my fantasy team from the start for the final. Only because they brought him in at like the 70th minute the game prior.
Yeah.
And that game was looking like heading towards extra time. So I was like, okay, well they know that he can last long enough to see out regular time plus extra time. So I was like thinking he was fairly fit at this point, at least physically, but like, maybe match fit and tactically not quite on it. But
he did come in the Switzerland game. He came in at the 78th minute, and then the Netherlands game he came in at halftime.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, it was building, right? So yeah, I felt pretty confident that he was going to play. I think he had a pretty decent game, considering it was his first start since February. I think the last one was. So I not overly surprised, but I think that was one of Southgate's smart moves on the day.
So do you think Southgate's superstitious?
Probably about the same as most that are in like a professional athlete realm, right? Like they all have their little things.
Yeah. I understand you want to field your best 11, but my question to him would be, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You've been bringing on Shaw at halftime and somehow winning games. I understand.
Yeah,
it's
true.
The final. I understand you're playing players who don't play in that area, but again, it has not been a negative for you. I was just thinking, if he starts, can he go the distance? And then at the end of the game, when they need to put players in their natural positions or wherever, I don't know. It's like a Luke Shaw spark could have maybe come in at the 50th, 60th minute and kind of given everyone else a boost. I don't know. That's just that would have been my one really critique for Southgate in this game. Besides, there's looking at the whole tournament, that's one thing, but just this game specifically, that was the one I was kind of surprised he was doing that.
I mean, I think he's probably taking into account that, Luke Shaw is on Yamal's side of the field, right? So you wanted, the natural left wing back kind of player there to help out, and I think it probably helps to balance that back line a little bit more, which I think kind of worked. Spain definitely like worked their way through, sometimes fairly easy. But again, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Of like you've. I think the lineup was the exact same every single game, right? Like I don't think he tinkered at all, really.
Guehi, the suspension for Guehi.
Well, yeah.
Trent for Mainu, but like,
yeah,
it seemed like after group stage, it was pretty set in stone on what he wanted to do. Again, you win this game. I'm not even thinking about this. It's just so unique to have a player like that who hasn't played at all, starting any game, and then he's put into the biggest. Do we call this England's biggest game? And I mean, definitely the biggest in the last 30 years, but one of the biggest games ever for England. Go get him, kid.
Yeah, it's a big question to ask of him, but maybe that's if he was up for it and feeling confident, and maybe he was hoping that would kind of disrupt Spain a little bit of having a natural left back there, which maybe did for the first handful of minutes, but then I think they figured it out pretty easily after that. But I think it was a big move at the start, but I think a lot more of the talk is probably going to be about taking Harry Kane out at the 60th minute. I think that's a smart move. I don't know if Kane should even have started this game if it was me.
You're that out on Kane right now? No, are you out on all of Kane? Or
not all of Kane, but just him in this tournament, right? He hasn't done enough within the games, I think, to really warrant his starting position, other than being the captain and his pedigree, I guess, right? Like he is a proven goal scorer. He can do it, but he's just not having the tournament you would want him to have.
This is like Ronaldo. It's the same type of idea where you feel forced to keep him on the pitch.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit like I was saying in the Discord, like Southgate was going to live or die by Kane and Foden. It seemed like they could be out there, have the worst game, and not only would they not get all that much criticism, but then they'd show up in the starting lineup next game. And I don't know. I think you have enough quality on that bench to spruce it up here and there, and at least try Gordon for more than 1 minute on the left wing.
Did he ever get in again?
I don't think so. I think that was his one moment, and he did the one thing that England needed to be doing was driving down the wing and trying to get past players. But I mean, I part of me wanted Ollie Watkins to come in and score and kind of like prove this point. Didn't happen, but he was still making those runs to kind of spread the defense a little bit and keep Spain pushed back a little bit more, which Kane wasn't doing. He was often almost like a false nine position, right? Like kind of deep back. When you're down there and you're crossing balls in, he's not really where he needs to be in there. So I don't know. I don't know if he was just way out of it this tournament, carrying some sort of injury.
I think he was tired. I think he had heavy legs too.
Yeah, and that's fair. And if that's the case, I think you brought Tony, you brought Watkins. You probably should have used them more. And
sure.
if you want to rely on Kane to at least start the final, then at least he's been rested more throughout the time and the tournament.
It would have been interesting if Southgate did the Luke Shaw thing with all the players he could rely on. I don't want to say the most, but the players he's relied on for the past 8 years at this point. Why couldn't Ollie Watkins get a start against Switzerland or the Netherlands and give Harry Kane a little rest? Especially when Saka made a great pass inside the box. It was I think it was against the Netherlands, and Harry Kane was just standing there.
Yeah.
And it's like, that should have been the moment where you're like, why aren't you crashing insanely hard for that? It's like, well, Harry Kane will never admit it, but I don't know. I feel like we could see it. He was tired. And that's not a thing that you can say is bad in this case, right?
No,
totally understandable. You just had an incredible season, and now you're going the deepest tournament run out of anyone else in this tournament. So lots of miles on those legs, and I just think, we could sit here and say Southgate didn't manage it well. We also said in the beginning of this tournament that there's no way in hell Southgate would even sub out Kane or Foden. And then it seemed like he was saving them a little bit from getting the scrutiny if things went south. I don't know. Just kind of thinking that way. I think Foden playing the whole 90 was the bigger tragedy here.
Yeah.
Especially when you have that depth.
Yeah, I think, especially, okay, you can try Foden with Watkins up top, but I think it just, I don't know, he all tournament seems to just be very floaty, kind of wherever he wanted to be. Oftentimes kind of now crowding Bukayo Saka on the right wing, and then left wing is just Trippier. Okay, don't need to defend that side. Like, it didn't work. I would have liked to have maybe seen, Southgate kind of go for it a little bit more of like bring in an actual winger on that left side. You have, an actual left back there, so they might be able to work together well. Ideally, you're training that in your practicing, but I don't know. Maybe you weren't. But I mean, I think there were things that Southgate could have and should have done throughout the tournament to have everyone ready and available, I guess, for the final. Unless Gordon's little bike accident where
maybe
he scuffed up his chin or whatever had some other effects. I don't know, but I don't know. It all around, I felt like it was kind of mismanaged for the quality they have. I don't know.
Well, I was listening to another podcast, an unnamed one, and the hosts of it are British, and they were loving Southgate. They said he was the only manager taking risks in this tournament. And I made that same face. And I know we tend to agree a lot on most things we talk about. We have our disagreements every now and then. But I would love to sit down with those two gentlemen and really understand why they thought this way. And the best way they said it was, he took the risks of bringing in a Tony at the last second, or bringing in a Watkins, or bringing in a Palmer. I was like, are those risks? I was like, that seems like a pretty straightforward gameplay. It's like, I think those were desperation moves from Southgate, if anything, because he was like, oh man, we're at the 80th minute now. Who can step up today? And I swear those, if they don't have Palmer or even the likes of course, Watkins, but even the likes of Tony for the PKs and everything, these guys were studs at the little time they had to offer. Not much to critique on that.
No, I think any manager would have done the same thing in that situation of we're down at the end of the game, need a goal, you throw on more attackers. That's just a tried and true attempt to get something. But had this game gone into extra time, it would have been interesting to see what he did, because now you're very attack heavy. Spain is still a threat, still has a lot of quick players. It would have been interesting to see what he would have done, but I wouldn't say that's taking any risk. The risk of this maybe being starting Luke Shaw, that might have been the riskiest move he made.
Well, I listened to this before the finals, so it wasn't even.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It wasn't even about that. I understand what they kind of meant by it with other, with some other coaches. We never got to see Weghorst start any match, right? I was like, that would have been an interesting thing to see. Ronaldo, of course, playing every single minute of the tournament, right? So I get what they're saying in other managers not taking risks, but at the same time, I think Southgate had such a deep squad. I don't know if you could say any of his subs were risks ever.
Yeah, that's true. The risk would be just altering the tactics a touch, right?
Or Enzer Konsi playing instead of Guehi in the back line.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't have a lot of people from England that I follow online and stuff, so I'm just seeing a lot through Reddit, and it seems like most people were in agreement that Southgate wasn't really doing enough.
Well, I'll have you listen to this one. It's a quick listen, but it is just interesting to hear a positive side of it. And now post Euros, Spain wins 2-1. England, second time in a row they get bounced out in a final. Are you a little surprised Southgate left 2 years to the World Cup?
Yeah. I was. Honestly, I was like, if England won it, I was gonna kind of feel bad for English fans that Southgate was gonna have to stay because, unless something drastic happened, he wouldn't leave after finally winning the Euros and going into the World Cup, right? But then again, you still got this team to 2 finals. I don't know if you can fully take credit for a tactical masterclass to get this team through. I think it kind of came down to a few moments of quality that is on that pitch in the players and came through. I think
I will stand by this statement, and I say it often. To win something major like this, it takes a little bit of luck and really, really a lack of injuries, for less of words. You need those two things to come into play. And if you look at both these teams, no one really got injured. And I don't even want to call Spain lucky. I don't think Spain was lucky. I think they did it all. But I will definitely call England very lucky. The Jude goal, the super late winners, the goal from Watkins. There's a lot of things in here that it's going, wow, that's pretty lucky.
Oh, yeah. So, but, I think oftentimes the people in charge of who gets to stay on as manager, who doesn't, they maybe overlook some of that and just look purely at, okay, where are we at in the table, or how far are we getting that in the tournament? So I thought he was going to stay on, honestly. Very surprised he didn't. And I don't know. It'll be interesting to see who they bring in, because if they can bring in someone who kind of understands all the quality and all the players that they have, I think they can be a very good threat and can, actually, they can get to a final and feel like they actually deserve to get to that final.
Who's going to beat Chad?
I don't know. I saw Klopp thrown around again, but that guy, I think, he's dead set. And he's taking his 2 year off, whatever.
He'll go to Germany after the World Cup. I feel like that's
I can
what
see
we'll
that.
See.
Yeah.
The Pep rumors are strong as hell right now. That'd be wild. I just don't see him being a coach who doesn't have it set up to win it all. And I'm not saying England can't win it all, but I believe there are other countries better suited to win it all.
I feel like if he goes into national team management, I think Spain would probably most likely, only because there's kind of a shared footballing identity in the way that the players are brought up and taught. But I don't know that he's the kind of manager that could do well nationally, just because he's so particular about where you are and the movements you make and all that, and you don't get all that time with these players to really hammer home these intricate little movements and plays.
Eddie Howe is being rumored right now from Newcastle. He did threaten them, saying, if you don't give me control, England's calling. Do you see that?
I saw that, which is big talk, I guess, right? I don't really know his management style, but I guess he likes a good amount of control, and I don't know. I thought Newcastle would kind of be happy to keep him around, but I guess maybe he's getting a little too big for his britches or something, then
I guess so.
they can move on. But I saw Graham Potter's name thrown out there. Yeah,
I saw Chelsea was still paying him, so that's what.
Yeah, I saw that too. So he's not going anywhere. He's riding out that contract.
Yeah, in Cancun hanging.
Yeah.
Well, anything more about this game? We did just shout out Danny Olmo for the goal line clearance.
Oh yeah, big.
That's maybe the play of the tournament. Don't know how he got there.
I think so. I mean, goals get all the praise and all the replays and all the talk, but I think that header off the line was probably as good as any play we've seen. It kept Spain ahead, and I don't know, that goal goes in at the 89th, and you go into extra time. If you go into penalties, not exactly a coin flip, but it certainly falls out of your hands a little bit. So that was huge.
And then one more thing: do you think in 2 or 3 years we'll be talking about Yamal more or Mbappe?
That's a good question.
He'll be 20. Yamal will be 20, and Mbappe will be 28. That's my question mark. Yeah, 28.
I feel like the talk will still be around Mbappe. Only because I'm anticipating him to finally win a Champions League because he's not stuck at PSG.
I think that'll happen in the next 3 years. Yeah, I don't believe Barcelona will be there now.
Yeah.
Definitely fun to think about. 2 really good players that will be, I don't know, they could be 1-2 again in the world just like we had it 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's the fun part too is, it's always been that talk of okay, well, who's the next Messi and the next Ronaldo, and all these names get thrown around, and I think Yamal feels a little bit more natural to step into that role because he kind of came out of nowhere, at least for me. I didn't hear much about him at all, and then all of a sudden he's here and he's 16, 17, and he's great, getting assists in the Euros and
goal of the tournament.
Yeah, and I know we've heard about Mbappe for a while, but I think, at least my perception, I guess maybe he wasted too many years, I think, at PSG, and not to say he won't turn things around, but it definitely it takes away from that legacy of a Messi and Ronaldo, where you're there, you're winning, you're always in the finals, you're getting these big important goals, and I don't know, not that Yamal has really done that either, but he at least is an unknown that just appeared on the scene, at least for me, and he's fun to watch too. So
yeah, it'll be interesting because I feel like when Ronaldo and Messi were duking it out, there was such a rivalry, not only between the clubs, but the Messi stands and the Ronaldo stands, and you didn't even need to support the teams. It was what side are you on? Yeah. And I feel like these two guys are too, I don't want to say they're not competitive, but they don't feel hyper competitive like how Ronaldo, at least not yet. I haven't seen it yet. And again, I think the fact that Barcelona, Real Madrid were just slugfests, that went a long way in people liking whatever player was on that team. And I just,
for sure,
I don't know. I don't really know Madrid that much right now. Who's their bad boy? Who's Barcelona's bad boy? Who goes and cleats someone or pokes their eye? I don't think anyone right now. I think everyone's at least a little
where's
cordial.
The Pepes? Where's the Puyols?
I'm saying. It's unless Sergio Ramos comes back, who's going to be that guy to just go absolutely wild? No one right now, at least in my mind.
Yeah, no one that comes to mind, but I'm kind of just hopeful now that those El Clasicos will feel big again.
They were so fun.
Yeah.
All right, does that nail our Euro talk?
I think so. Yeah, it's congrats to Spain. Well deserved.
Spain. Chad, I feel like I have amnesia.
Uh-oh.
Because if we just go back from the Copa final like a week, okay, we had Uruguay going in the stands and fighting, okay? We had the Copa America final getting overrun with fans where we just forgot everything that happened with Uruguay. That doesn't even matter anymore. Gone.
Done. Yeah.
Gone. You're fine, Darwin. You're fine. We got people crawling up air shafts in the stadium to get to their seats, which we did find out, I believe yesterday, maybe today, that they oversold for that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, trying to earn some extra bucks there. And then Argentina wins this thing and decides to go on what could be a crazy altering season for mostly the Premier League right now. But now this new hatred between Argentinians and the French.
Yeah.
No one's even looking at the final anymore. We moved on. So in the last week, we jumped from boom, 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 3 things, and are just totally like we're on to the next. And now this we're taken away from the football talk, but it's just it's going to be detrimental to a lot of clubs because they have idiot players, and a lot of clubs are crossing their fingers that their player had nothing to do with what Enzo Fernandez posted online. So wild stuff, man.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
And it just gets more wild every time I see a new statement about it. Like
Demba Ba coming out.
I didn't see that.
You didn't see Demba Ba, dude. No. Everyone's coming out.
No, but like especially was maybe the Argentine soccer federation president or someone was talking about it and trying to defend it and say it was in a joking spirit or something like that, and it just keeps snowballing into just more and more wild statements of trying to make this okay.
Well, so the president basically said we do not, this is not us, we don't condone this. And then the VP was like, well, no, it's kind of true. And then it's caused this feud. And Demba Ba came out today and said Argentina is an asylum for former Nazis on the run. So we're just going deep in this, dude. We're going deep.
Oh my gosh.
And then France came out and said when we lost to Argentina, we didn't come out and make fun of how short Messi was. So this is just unraveling. They just had to throw Messi in there for clicks.
Well, you mention Messi in a bad light, and all Argentina is just frustrated and angry with you, right? He's the golden child and has brought so much joy, especially in their last year,
It's crazy, man. So we're going to have this South American Euro war going on.
Yeah.
But, we'll have to talk about that more when the Premier League season starts to get closer and what that might do to mostly Chelsea, considering they're such a French-heavy team. That's going to be that's the one that...
Well, that was, I think, the one that jumped out right away where, so many of his fellow Chelsea players were stopped following him and making somewhat cryptic posts about it. And I saw
also obvious posts too of this is straight racist.
Yeah. And I saw I forget who it was, but someone was trying to say if those players were offended by what Enzo did, they should have just called him and talked to him directly rather than making a post online or whatever. And it was but he did that online.
Bro's an idiot.
Yeah, it wasn't this bad moment of something slipped, right? It was a full on just racist song chant, and unfortunately you have a lot of teammates to answer to now that whether they're French or not, will probably feel some type of way of like, well, if you're saying this about French players, then like, what are you saying about me? Like, just because I'm not from Argentina, I'm who knows what. And I think as much as we loved to see Chelsea just kind of flounder and collapse, this might be the one that just goes a little too far and
jump ship, get out.
Yeah, I mean, the poor Maresca or whatever the manager that just came in, he's got so much on his plate right now.
He's so pissed.
Did I sign that already, or like, can I get out real quick?
Hey Lester.
Yeah, for real. He's waiting for that Bayern call and like, oh, company didn't work out. Yeah, I'm available.
Yeah, hit me up. Oh man, so that's a mess. Let's go to the Copa game, because I thought the game was awesome. I was really into Copa this year, mostly because it was a shit show, I think, to say the least.
Oh yeah.
Euros was, it had its moments, but I feel like Euros was expected and Copa was like, I don't know what's gonna happen tonight. Who's gonna do what? And this game, I think, on the field wise, was straightforward. Seeing Messi go out with that crazy ankle turn. I don't know if you saw the actual turn. Oh man, that was awful.
Yeah, watching it live, I was like, it doesn't look like anything. Like, I thought he was faking it. Yeah, I kind of thought he was selling it a little bit, and then later on in the game, it cuts to him at the sideline with his sock down. You see his ankle just massively swollen, like crazy.
Oh man, yeah, I was shocked. And when he made that run to get past those defenders, I was thinking, I was like, where is he gonna go? Like, he was kind of just like locked out of that zone. And yeah, I mean, they just crunched him, but it wasn't even the crunch that got him. He was just trying to torque his body so much and couldn't do it. And then, he just broke down, which I understand. He held it all together, and then it was just like a floodgates opened. But we did point out, very similar to the Ronaldo situation in 2016. I had a feeling they were going to win this game after he went out, just because, I don't know, seems like fate, right?
Like
just seems like fate. And, someone said, I think it was in the 2016 Copa, Messi missed a PK and cried.
Oh.
Yeah, so just a little more simulation to throw at you.
Yeah.
Again, Ronaldo went out of the finals in Euros, and Portugal won, and in this, Messi went out, and Argentina found a way to win it in extra time, and both games were in extra time. So it was, right? It was? I want to say it was.
The Euros or
Euro 2016?
I think it did, yeah.
It was.
If not, okay, yeah. I was gonna say, if not, it was super late goal, but
oh man, 109th minute goal and 112th minute goal in this one.
Oh, see, close. When you adjust for the curvature of the Earth and the time dilation.
Right.
Yeah, but that Copa game was a lot of fun to watch. Once it actually started, like, it got delayed, an hour 45 or something?
Almost, dude. Kristen was going, I need to go to bed. And I was like, I get it. But she didn't, because this game was very entertaining. But smart move to push this game back. I think if they didn't, it would have caused, oh man, I don't know. It would have been not good. It would have been, not Attack on Wembley 2.0, because it wasn't a how many people were in downtown Wembley? That is 60,000 or something stupid.
Like that, yeah.
It wasn't like that there. But Miami did shut down a freeway the night before. Did you see that one?
Mm-hmm.
Launching fireworks on the freeway. So it was coming. But yeah, it was ugly. It was not cool seeing kids cry and getting pushed into gates. I don't know if you saw the initial crash. Did you see the dog?
Yeah.
The dog that just walked by?
Yeah, I was like, what the heck? Where'd you come from? Yeah. I mean, it was wild scenes. I didn't hear that anyone got injured or anything, so luckily it all kind of went smoothly, I guess.
Yeah.
But this has to be this, and a lot of other parts of this tournament have to be a huge wake up call to America and the stadiums here for the World Cup, because like it's already going to be embarrassing if the national team goes out in the groups, and then if we have just shitty stadiums with sand on the pitch, or
that was bad.
The grass, not formed together, didn't have time to form together enough, so there's like the divots and stuff, like, and then you have this whole final, not only all the issues with the tickets at the gates, but then like to keep pushing back a final just doesn't look good, right? Like there's a small delay because it's busy and you got to get people in the gates, cool, but like when it kept getting pushed back, and then you see more scenes, and then the people trying to get in the air shafts and stuff.
Crazy.
It's like,
that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in a stadium.
Yeah. So
if we want to scapegoat CONMEBOL, I think we can a little. Yeah. When USA did their national or international tournament in 2016, it was done by the United States Soccer Federation, and I don't know which South American teams were there, but big-ish ones. I believe Brazil was at least in it.
I think Brazil was there, yeah.
Nothing like this happened.
No,
not even close. So I think we can blame CONMEBOL a little bit. I do agree it's a huge wake-up call, saying in 2 years we got to figure out what to do with these fans.
Yeah.
I think they need to do a better job with protecting the families of fans, of the players. A suggestion is using all those sweet boxes for families. But again, that's, money out of everyone else's pockets. So it's like you got to weigh that out a little bit. But there's a lot. I mean, you can't. That was so crazy, dude. How many fans were rushing in like that? Like, it would not shock me if that happens again in World Cup.
No, and that's the thing, is like this final, was busy, and it's it's a Colombian team that has been on an incredible run of what, 27, 28 wins, and then Argentina, who already has a huge following, plus Messi followers, right? Like, so it was going to be crazy, but like, I'm just thinking, World Cup final is, even a step bigger than the Copa final, so it's not only going to be busy, but you have, probably even more people from so many different cultures and countries coming together. So like, you got to find a way to kind of make sure it's as peaceful as it can be and enjoyable for everyone. And, don't oversell it and try and scrape money. Like, I know that's the American way to like get your money as much as you can, however you can. But like, this could have been really bad, honestly.
It was close. It was really, it was like you couldn't look. I was hoping, I was trying to get updates every possible minute to know what was going on there. I was checking Reddit like crazy to see if any videos were coming out, and they slowly were. But the air vent one, nuts, absolutely crazy. But yeah, game was great. Martinez coming in, scoring that goal felt inevitable.
Yeah,
dude was on a tear. His price tag just went up a ton. I'm really curious to see who comes knocking to Inter Milan. Think you would fit in Arsenal? Or do you want Kai up there still with Jesus if possible?
I mean, I think for the current way that Arsenal plays and what seems to be Arteta's vision, I think Kai is a little bit more in that mold where he's, not your out and out striker, but finds his way to like be in good positions and help build the play and can still get up there. Whereas Martinez reminds me of like an Alexis Sanchez kind of player where he's quick and nimble and can dribble and very good, but I just don't think it's like, if you're going to sign a new striker at Arsenal, I don't think that's the profile they would be looking for.
Okay. I was curious. I'm like, I feel like someone's going to come knocking for him soon.
I would think so. I mean, he's had good seasons for a while now, right? Like, and if you're going into your international team and performing well, like, and unless he's comfy sitting in there in Milan, then maybe make a move to different league, bigger team. I don't know, but
yeah, I think because Inter's now won it these 2 years here. He's 26. I feel like that's right around the time when players start to change things up, especially if they want to win Champions League, right? You did the domestic. He almost won Champions League with Inter against City 2 years ago. So, like, I feel like it's coming. It's looming. And I'm just curious who's going to be the one to go get him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think what team kind of needs a striker like him. And, no one's jumping out. Everyone's kind of settled in that department. Arsenal maybe being the question mark, but
I think he'll go one more year at Inter though, for sure. I don't think it'll be this summer, just because they won the title, and I feel like they were so close in Champions League 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So a lot of things can change in the year's time. I think if we say Chelsea, that's a strong play because Chelsea will take anyone.
Yeah. Well, you just need like one team to look at him, and then Chelsea will be interested. So.
Yeah. And then let's talk a little about Uruguay and what happened there, because we haven't even got there yet. Initial reaction on my end, it was like horror.
It was funny. It was funny to read.
Well, it was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was pretty horrified at first. I don't even know what I typed. I'll have to go back and look at it. You can maybe recite it for me.
Darwin's in the ground. He punched a fan. Oh no.
The way it was shot, or at least given to the public, was press conference talking about the game, and then cut to Darwin in the stands just going crazy, and you're like, what's happening? So, like, of course I'm horrified to begin with, going like, oh, this is like Nunez headbutting Anderson all over again, but just even a little bit crazier. And then when you kind of start to dissect everything that happened, I was all of a sudden on Team Nunez in Uruguay, going, these guys should get 1 game ban. 1 game, because you shouldn't go up there. But at the same time, who the hell else was going to go up there and do what they did? Because it didn't seem like anyone wanted to. Darwin might get an extra game for that crazy chair throw he was going to do. I think that was a desperation move, because now, here's the thing. Do you know, was he in the stands before that? Or was that before he got up there?
Before the chair? Or
when he came running with that chair and was ready to swipe those fans, was he in the crowd before that? Or was that before he went up in the crowd?
I don't know, but
yeah, I don't know either. I tried to look it up and I couldn't find it.
Yeah. I would think it was probably before, like, as he sees commotion, because, like, then it like, after he's up there and it kind of blows up, but then I think it starts to calm down, fizzle out a little bit.
So that's what I'd be looking at. I'm like, was this a initial response to the situation, or was this a coming down saying, I still want to go after you? Very two different ways to punish that. The security guard who kind of slapped that chair, though, if he didn't slap that chair, I don't think Nunez would be playing at all next year.
Yeah, it's
he could have killed someone. Like, honestly.
Yeah, I mean we've seen Darwin get a little spicy in his time at Liverpool and stuff here and there, which is a great quality to have, but sometimes can be a little bit quick. But, like, I also understand, like, your family is right there, so you just go into, like, protection mode.
Yep.
Unfortunately, you're just in a position where, like, you will be judged a little bit harsher than just random Joe Schmo doing it.
It's what do you do, man? You have a split second to decide. Do I go in that crowd
it was one of those,
or do I stay here and see what happens? And I just don't think. I think if you and I were in that situation, I don't think we would just sit there and see what happened.
No, and I think part of it too is, like, if fans are getting upset with each other, fighting, like I'm fighting a random person. Like, you annoyed me, whatever, and we're fighting now. But like having a player you maybe don't necessarily like, but and that they're a pro athlete, I think can sometimes be that recognizable face or something that kind of can cool tensions, or at least have them back off or something, of like puts a name to the face sort of thing, where it's just like, or you just don't want to get hit by some dude that is paid to work out and be super fit. So yeah, I don't know. Like you said, it's a split second decision, and you always knew Darwin's going for it. So yeah, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. I just looked it up when Eric Dyer went up into the stands in the FA Cup. He got banned for 4 games.
What was the reason he did that?
Another like family thing. I think his brother was in that section, and was, I think people knew it was his brother, and were giving him some stick, and then I think maybe someone pushed him or something. But same sort of situation of like kind of split second. Like Eric Dyer climbed, I don't know, like 10 rows of seats to get up there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was a good run, climb up. But so I mean, 4 games for that, which wasn't as severe as this, I guess you could say. But I don't know. I think you look at the context more, and
it's tricky.
It'll be interesting. If Dyer was 4, I wouldn't be surprised to see Darwin at 4. But I think it also could be less, just because this was not anything FA related. It was completely removed from Europe or from England and the league and all that. So
a lot of context you got to read into this one.
Yeah,
it's a bummer, that's for sure. But where were you when this was happening? Were you not watching anymore, I'm assuming?
For the fight part? No, yeah. I wasn't watching. But then I saw your messages, and I was just like, what the heck? And then jumped on Reddit, and of course there's already a video of it up, and
it's crazy. And the videos just kept getting better because they had different angles, and other people recording.
Where's the VAR on this? Like,
oh man, break it down. I hope John Boy does something with it. I'm actually surprised
that
we
would be
haven't
good.
Seen that yet. But yikes. Yeah, yikes for sure. The real, I don't want to say loser in this, but the real bummer is Colombia played a great game. The media barely talked about it.
Yeah.
And then even after going toe-to-toe with Argentina in this final, barely talked about it because, of course, they won. But then even their win is being overshadowed by all this other crap.
Oh, yeah.
Hasn't even been a week yet. It's been 5 days.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And, there's been zero talk of gameplay and goal and all this. Everything is just...
Enzo.
Stadium talk, Enzo talk, the weird statements that are coming out. Like, it's just the weirdest timeline that we're on right now.
It's been a week, Chad.
It has.
It's been a freaking week.
Yeesh.
Oh man. I don't know, dude. I think we went on a spree there.
Yeah.
All right, where do we go next? Shout outs to Cameron for winning Euros.
Yeah,
Shout
well
outs
played.
To Kara for having the luck to draw Spain.
She was last World Cup when we did the Survivor pool. She had England.
Okay,
I think
I can look.
Was she England and France or something? No, couldn't have been.
For women's or men's?
I want to say men's. I think she did that one. Maybe it's that one, or maybe was it the last Euros? I don't know. There was one in there where she got pretty deep, but didn't win it all. But this time, had the luck, rode it all the way.
I don't know if she did it the first time around.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't see her. So it must have been women's. I'm gonna pop.
Yeah, maybe then. Maybe.
She had. Yeah, she had England and Jamaica. And England won.
That's right.
So she's won this twice in a row? Oh, no, Spain won. Spain won. My bad.
Yeah,
My bad.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say.
I got World Cup, Women's World Cup mixed up with...
No.
Or Euro Women's. Man, a lot of soccer.
Too much going on. It's been a week.
And then the guy who I went and watched the game with, he had Spain for the Women's World Cup, and he won that one. So he wasn't in this Survivor, but he was happy to see.
All right. I mean, yeah, great couple of years for Spanish football. You know,
it ain't bad.
Nah,
yeah, it ain't bad. All right, should we jump into Premier League fantasy and
I think we turn our attention to what 28 days ish.
August 16th.
Yeah, 27 days ish. I don't know.
That is
or
soon.
Under a month.
That is soon.
Yeah.
Who is
quick?
One player that you're excited to see that's not an Arsenal and how they perform?
I'm just looking through the new transfers real quick to see if anything is jumping out. I think the one that's like kind of been in my head since it happened, only because he had a great run in the Champions League, a little bit rough in the final, but Ian Maatsen now on Aston Villa, I think that's going to be a real weapon for them, and makes me a little bit nervous to go against Villa again.
That's a good one, man. That's super underrated, and he's what, 22, 23,
22,
right around there. Yeah, he'll be fun to watch for sure. Aston Villa, man,
they're taking some good swings here. You know, they got Maatsen in, brought in Cameron Archer from Sheffield's. He's could be worth it, could be not. He's 22, and Sheffield didn't do anything last season, but worth it to give it a shot, I think.
Yep.
They brought back Ross Barkley, right? He had a little stint on Villa before, right? Yeah. So he's back in there. Some other players I don't know, but they are making a lot of moves early and haven't been afraid to kind of let people go too. Like the Douglas Luiz transfer out to Juventus was a surprise to me.
Sure. Caught me off guard. I'm excited to see Matoma come back.
Oh, yes.
Feel like we were on such a Matoma hype train.
Yep.
Got hurt, and then kind of just got cycled out of everyone's minds. Because Brighton just wasn't that great. But I think he is their carry. And I really hope he can stay fit.
Well, you need him, and if Solly March can get back into it. Because
we didn't even see him last year, did we?
Didn't. Yeah, if we did, it was early games and just maybe a couple. But that season prior where they both kind of, I mean, a lot of Brighton did well that season, but Matoma looked great. Solly March had some great games, great goals. Brighton as a whole, I'm going to be really interested to watch just because of the manager they brought in. From the limited research I've done on the guy, plays a very positionless kind of tactic. He's much more about just occupying spaces, and did so with, I think, FC St. Pauli in the second Bundesliga, I think, and got them promoted. It's either 3-2 or 2-1. But yeah, so young dude, 31, I want to say.
Okay.
I don't know. I forget.
Yeah. You're right. He is super young.
Yeah, so I think it'll be exciting to watch and see what happens there. If he can kind of get Brighton clicking again, especially in like a new kind of weird formations and weird tactics that we haven't really seen in the Premier League. I mean, they were already fun to watch before for the most part, and I think they're just going to continue to be fun to watch.
Bad news. Solly March is still out until August 5th.
Okay, so he'll miss a little bit in the early days, but
I assume he'll miss, first couple, a really slow entry back into the team. I was shocked. There's no one on this Premier League injury report, basically, besides Sully March. So,
poor guy.
Then one more shout out, which I pray he plays, and I think he will. Yannick Vestergaard from Leicester.
Oh, yes.
We didn't get to see him on Leicester, and I think this year we will. So, I got my eyes on him.
Yeah, he's when we used to get to see him perform, he would perform well, and I hope he just continued to get better. I mean, he did well enough with Wout Face next to him and get Leicester promoted, right? So he's doing something there. But yeah, I mean, as far as transfers that are confirmed, I think those are the ones that kind of jump out. There has been a lot of talk of Emile Smith-Rowe maybe going to Crystal Palace, which I think it's going to hurt to lose him, but he's not really finding a place in the team, unfortunately. But the way that Palace ended the season with this new manager, I think Emile will fit in there really well, especially if they can hang on to Eze. Would have liked Elise to be there with him, but Bayern come a knocking, and of course you're leaving Palace for Bayern.
I think you started last episode on that note of me being very disappointed in Crystal Palace. I still am. But again, Elise didn't play a whole lot.
No,
when he did play,
often injured.
When he did play, this team felt top 5-ish.
Yeah, and especially that last run in where they were really clicking. That front 3-4 were really on the same page.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this last time. Shocked we didn't. France didn't take Mateta, considering how good of a closing he had at the Premier League. And I understand, he is a poacher. You have other strikers in there, but dude, I don't know. You ride a heater. I'm all about momentum, and when a player is confident,
well, I think too,
confidence can beat talent.
He had a little bit of that, that Giroud about him, where he could do the hold-up play and have those little flicks and light touches that were perfectly placed. Yep. And he's a big dude anyway, so you have Mbappe, Dembele on the wings, cross that ball in, he can probably get his head to it. So yeah, I think maybe it just he turned it on a little too late, maybe, which is fair enough. But I think sometimes in these tournaments, you just gotta see who's currently performing. Don't make your whole team that, but you can bring a couple in that have just ended the season well, and that could be some of their first meaningful games played for their country, and that could again just spur them on even further to perform. So I don't know. All this just is I'm trying to just say these international managers need to take a little bit more of a risk in their team sheets sometimes.
Yep.
If it's not working and you bring in Ollie Watkins and he saves you, or he's impacting the play in other ways, okay, Kane wasn't doing that, let's start Ollie, or I mean, that's just the easiest one that came to mind, but any of that sort of stuff, Ronaldo not scoring, he's Ronaldo. He's going to take some gravity on that field, but you also need to score goals to win and move on. And okay, sorry, Ronaldo. I know you're going to be upset, but I'm trying to win. I'm trying to get here. This. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. It's that's how I feel.
Well, those are my 3 I'll be paying close attention to. We'll see if they make my team. But, I'm already starting to explore. Oh, yeah. I'm exploring.
Thinking a little bit, yeah. I mean, it's going to come up quick, so.
It's coming really quick, so I just want to make sure I got my people in the right spots. But I think we'll get that email out the next couple days here. Start getting everything organized. I love the layout. which the good people will get to see soon.
Mm-hmm.
The purple is there. Now we just got to get some Hoolies merch in here.
Yeah, for real.
And we're golden.
Yep, it's exciting times coming up.
Yeah, we'll have to get a player list going too.
Yeah.
That'll definitely be next. Looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else, Chad? Did we nail everything this hour and 10 in? I feel like we talked a lot, and we still have pretty short on our
came in under.
time.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot going on outside of Euro and Copa. Unfortunately, a lot of drama continuing from that, but
let's see what plays out.
Yeah, I think it'll be an interesting few weeks. I would think they have their decisions made on who's getting what punishment prior to all the leagues starting.
Yep.
But we'll see.
All right. Well, we won't call this an end to our season 2 of the podcast, but I think we are preparing for our season 3 just right around the corner. So maybe we check in one more time, maybe probably 2 more times, just in case any big news comes into play, which I'm sure there will be. More of how significant, how much we can talk about it. That's kind of the case here. But if this is the last season 2 episode, what a freaking year this was. Holy moly. A lot has happened.
Yeah.
A lot of traction. Appreciate everyone listening. And season 3 is going to be fun.
Yeah, we're building. We're going to keep moving, keep improving.
Got ideas coming.
Yeah.
We'll keep adapting.
So get in the Discord.
Yeah, get in the Discord. Come talk some footy with us.
Yeah.
We talked a lot of Euros. Good banter. Everyone had good banter in the Euro, just in the Euro channel. So, I think we're good. Chad, you got anything else to say?
Not really. That's pretty much it.
All right,
I'm excited for the league to return.
Yeah, me too, man. I can't wait. All right, I wanted to leave you with this last thing for this episode. Mm-hmm. What do you rate Shakira's halftime performance? 1 out of 10. Hit me with a number.
It was like a 4 for me, honestly.
Yeah, I'm about a 3 too. All right.
Yeah.
That's all I needed. And with that, the Hooligans pitch. We're out.
Peace.